Okay. Hi, Jake.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay. To introduce your band and yourself to the readers, how did you guys meet, and how did you decide to become Morning in May?
So I started the band a very long time ago. I
Mm.
just did like acoustic stuff. Um, I just played out a lot when I was like 15, 16. I think when I turned 16 or 17, I started this band. Exactly what I wanted to do. I was in a band before, and it was a lot of like, I want to do this, or I don't know how to do this, or I'm trying to do this, and it was a lot of like kid stuff. So I knew what I wanted. I wanted to uh, go farther and actually see if we can do it. So long story short, it was member change after member change, and then I finally found this group of guys. The drummer I met a couple years ago, he actually found out about our band when he was living in Florida. He's originally from New Hampshire.
Mhm.
He moved to Florida. He heard about our band. He saw our music video for like "I'm a Six at Best" when we were like kids and just getting like started and stuff, and he really liked it. He moved to Cleveland, and then he saw that we were looking for a drummer, and he messaged us. And he didn't even have a drum set or anything like that. It was pretty fun. Uh, he just kept faking it. He was like, "Yeah, we can practice, we can practice, we can practice," and then we never got together. We're like, "Dude, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, now we can practice. I have a drum set now," and we're like, "Oh, okay. Well, that would have helped." And then he ended up being super, super, super good at drums, and we're like, "All right, I guess all is forgiven." Um, so in between tours and stuff, we like pick up jobs and do all that stuff because we like money and there's no reason to like just wait, you know? So you might as well be making money when there's nothing to do. So the I got a job at Guitar Center for a little bit, and the one of the guys that works there, he's actually one of the managers over where we work, but he has a studio and he records stuff, and then that ended up being John, who's the bassist. We started recording this album that's about to come out a long time ago. We started, and um, I was just like, John, you should just play bass, and he's like, yeah, okay, please. So that was fun. And then I met Joe because Andrew. So COVID happened and stuff, and the band kind of did their own thing. The the old guys that were in it, we kind of just disbanded. I was like, you guys go do whatever you guys want to go do. I'm just gonna do this and figure our future out. So Andrew started kind of loosely playing for another band, just to kind of do whatever, just to kill time and stuff. And um, that band had Joe in it, my guitarist, who's like the sole proprietor of that band. He came over, he thought the songs were cool, and then we got along very well. So now it's the four of us.
I like that. I like that you guys have different stories with each member, and that,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, all of you are also like passionate about keeping this project forward. So I'm glad that it all worked out after all.
yeah, me too.
So you talked a little bit about this in your answer. So you said how your album, like the album that's about to come out, has been like in the works for a long time ago. So with all of this, like, disbandment and all the members added into it, how was the process like to create this album?
Um, so some of the songs on the album are I wrote loosely wrote like years ago. Um, it was kind of weird. So we it has to do with label stuff.
It's
um,
fine.
so when we were writing our last EP, our big like metalcore somewhere in
Mhm.
slumber EP, uh, that we were with like the Tragic Hero team and all that stuff. Um, I wrote this really kind of soft Paramore song, and it wasn't going to make the EP because it just didn't make sense to put it on there. But I was like, I like that song. We'll just keep it for whatever. And then after we did all the metalcore stuff and got super heavy, we I kicked most of the guys out. And then I was like, I want to do what I want to do. I want to do like the pop rock stuff. I want to write pop songs and all that. So I'm always writing like lyrics and stuff and like little melodies and little chord progressions and stuff. So I just kept doing that, and then, like I said, I met John, and we started demoing stuff out. And then we got signed to another label that I definitely don't want to mention at all because I just hate their guts. But
It's fine.
um, we got signed to another label. They kept giving us the runaround. They promised us like recording time and studio stuff, and everything
Mm,
was like free and all that stuff. And on the contract, it was all lucrative, and they just kept pushing it and stuff. And
mm,
they really liked our band, and they really thought we were their like not saving grace, but we were one of their bigger bands on that thing. And they weren't treating us like they felt like that. So
mm,
yeah, so we John and I just decided to demo and record everything out ourselves, and then we send it out to our guy Lenny Morales in LA. We send out all the songs to him. He masters it, makes it all nice and pretty. And that was kind of it. So John and I recorded probably like 5 or 6 of the songs, and then we had the guys because they came in while we were writing it. Um, they went back over the drums. I pretty much just sat there and was like, "Hey, I want this to do something like this, do that," and then Andrew would play his own thing on it. And then same thing with Joe. It'd be like, "Hey, the guitar, this is how it goes. Like, if you want to make it nicer, make it do something better." And then he sat down and kind of did that. But
mm.
that's like 2 years of doing that, I guess.
Yeah, no, and I believe that those kinds of things are like so frustrating, especially when you just want to put out music and you guys have been working on them and just the label putting pressure and just on the studio times and everything. It's just like it's so stressful. It's like I just want to put music, man. This is what I want to do.
Oh yeah, yep.
Speaking about the album, the it since it's been in the works for a long time, I bet that, it shows your progression as a band, especially with all the new members and stuff. So that concept as a whole, did that come just like, since you guys are doing the songs, or was it like premeditated? Like, oh, we want to talk about how this has come forward, or did it ever like, come into mind like that?
Um, kind of. They, so I read all the lyrics and stuff, and I kind of, they don't, the guys never really, any of the members I had never really said anything about it. I kind of
Hmm.
just, hello, there's John.
Oh,
Sorry, I haven't used Discord, so I didn't know.
it's fine, don't worry.
So John, hello. We're talking about how we write the songs, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, cool. I like to hear it. Real Friends, how was that show?
It was good. It was really good.
Cool.
So John is in the studio that he recorded us in right now.
Yeah.
So I pretty much I'll be like, all right, guys, this is like the idea for the song and the chord progression and all that, and then I give it to them, and they kind of just add their, oh, this would be cool if we did this, or how about we do this, and the idea of the album was pretty much just to be like, there's always I'm gonna try to wrap this up.
Mhm.
So everybody talks about like being like sad and all that stuff, and
Mhm.
everybody talks about it and they listen to the songs and it helps them get through it and all that stuff. But I was like, well, why don't we do something, like why don't we take the next step and like getting better? Why don't we write some tunes and some tempos that get people moving and feel better and stuff. And I wrote enough lyrics that like condition you, so if you say it enough, you're going to start thinking that and start feeling that way and start moving towards that way instead of just sitting there in sadness. um that was kind of like the whole, I wanted to do something different. I didn't know how I wanted to do it, but we just kind of built it as it went, and it turned out to all be cohesive
Mhm.
and do what it needed to do. But the guys were on board. They're like, yeah, man, I just want to play. That's cool.
No, I love that honestly because like you said, there's so many albums and so many songs that are like, like sad and you just like sometimes you just need those songs that get you out of bed and said, okay, I can do this, I can go out with my day. So I really like that because I personally like when I listen to sad songs, I obviously get extremely like sad afterwards, obviously, but I try to divert away from sad songs, even though they're the norm. So I really like that there's like musicians out there like you guys that want to push out music that make you wanna get out and be like, okay, I can do this, I can get on with my
Yeah.
day. So I really like that.
Yep.
So about the album too. I personally love when I'm listening to like songs and I hear like details in the songs that are like, wow, this is so good. Like I'm listening to it and I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I needed. So when you guys were crafting the album, do you guys have any details on any of the songs that are like, we have to put this in here, like it sounds so good? Do you guys have any details like that?
As far as like it sounds really good and we were really about it, or
Yeah, like okay, we have like this sounds really good together, or like it can call you by surprise. Like yes, like every time you listen to those songs, you're like, oh yes, this exactly it's what I needed.
yeah, actually it's kind of funny because that happened a couple times on the album. We just started writing songs and they're all for different reasons, but a lot of us the the band knows which songs a lot of people are gonna like.
Mm,
And then we have songs that we really like that we wrote, which is mostly the case for a lot of bands. But uh, the first song on the album is "Live, Laugh, Love, Die, Cry,
mm,
Hate." We I think that's John's favorite song or
Yeah,
one of his favorites.
it's one of my favorites.
So, so I started just like singing words and stuff and trying to fit it, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be sweet. And
mm,
then we got to the chorus and we kind of put everything together. Um, that that song's like a to us to me is like a perfect song. It does everything it needs to do. We have a song called Jake from State Farm Ruined My Life,
mm,
which is probably as the band vote is probably like the leading single off the album.
Very
But yeah,
dainty.
there's Make Like Parents and Split. It's there's a lot of perfect songs in my opinion on the album. Not that not that they're amazing and the greatest songs ever. They were just
mm.
well written and they were executed very well. So
Gotcha. Okay. So since you've talked a little bit about song titles, I want to know, do you guys just create those song titles out of the top of your head? Are they just like sentences that come out and like, in normal conversations like, "Oh, that would be a good song title." Like how you guys design your song titles?
um yeah,
Something like that.
I'll let you guys in the secret. So I bounce the ideas off the guys and I'll just think of like really stupid stuff and then I'll send it to them and be like, do you guys like this? And they'll be like, no, you can do better, or that's really cool, or something like that. So they're my they're my bouncers. I just bounce stuff off of them. They're like, no, that's stupid. which is usually the case, but every once in a while it's like, yeah, that's cool. Do that. Um so I there's a method behind everything, all the song titles and what I do. So I I like coming up with song titles that'll obviously never be no song will ever be like that. Nothing will be misconstrued when you're typing it in. It's like that's the song and that's the only song ever that's going to be named that. So there's a little bit of that. I like adding like cultural references
Mhm.
that'll mix in with other things. So like on our last album was Everybody's Innocent in Here, Don't You Know That, which is a line from a movie. I like to do that a lot because it just coincides with movies and stuff and I really like that's like my favorite thing to do is like go to the movies and stuff and growing up. So I really like the movie stuff. So I also like to spin off of like so when you're a kid, you go to the mall a lot. There's really nothing to do before you can figure things out until you're 18. And you're like, oh, I can go anywhere. So I was like, what's popping on the mall? Like, is with that same mindset. Um, I was like, what else? What else are kids doing that are growing up and figuring that out? And like, we're from Ohio, so like, this is
Yeah.
I'm in Cleveland. Hello. So I was like, all right, well, what else is there? So that's why we did like makeup tutorials for crying out loud. It just all just leaves with being sad and also like nothing to do. So what is there? And a lot of people like look up like makeup tutorials and stuff. So it's a lot of tagging and keywords and all that stuff. Live, laugh, love, die, cry, hate. It's just I like flipping like the duality of stuff like that. It's pretty.
Mm. No, I honestly like those references because I mean you can just like look at the track list and be like, "Ooh, this song title like resonates with me," or maybe like people will be out there and be like, "Wait, this quote is from a movie. Let me,
Yeah.
maybe this will be my next favorite song." I really like that. I thought that they were really creative. I have never seen anything like that, so I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." I really want to know the process of them just thinking about the titles.
Also, it so like the bands John and I grew up listening to, they do a lot of that. It's in a different light, and I was like, well, why don't we make it like more witty instead of completely out there about nothing?
Mm,
John and I, a lot of our favorite bands did that way back in the day. So like, uh, from first to last, Fall Out Boy,
mm,
Panic at the Disco, and all those bands, they did stuff like that. I was like, well, why don't we do that again because it'll pop this time and it's so ironic that
mm,
it'll be good again. So like let's do that because I there's so many bands that there's bands even now, big artists that come out with a song called this and it's already a really big song by a really big artist that came out 20,
mm,
30 years ago. Like I don't want to name any names or anything like that. But there's already songs that are named that
mm,
and they're like huge songs already and they're like, no, let's just name it that. It's like
mm.
Texas naming one of their cities Paris when it's like there's already a Paris. Everybody
Mm,
knows that Paris.
yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely feel, and I honestly I like them either way. The song titles, and when I was going to track this, I'm like, oh yeah, this song's good, and like I will learn the title and I will tell all my friends to listen to it.
Oh, also, it helps that all of those song titles, we don't even call the songs that. We have like a shorthand version of all of those songs, and they have
Yeah.
nothing to do with the title.
Yeah, I imagine because saying those like song titles, every time you want to like talk about a song and it's like the full title, maybe if one of you starts saying the full title, you're like, dude, why are you saying the full title? We already have,
Yeah.
this like nickname for it. So I definitely feel.
I had to
Um,
start for like our live sets, I had to start naming the songs because we're about to go on tour and play like the album release. So every night
mm,
I have to learn the song titles and what they are so I can tell everybody this is what they're called because
mm.
I really don't know what they're called
Yeah,
perfectly.
and
So
that was like my next segue. You guys are going on tour so soon.
yeah.
That's so exciting. What songs from the new album are you excited to play live? Like, what are those songs that that will get the crowd going?
Uh, I the songs that were already listed we were playing. The rest of them are a surprise, so you're gonna have to go to a show.
Okay.
But yeah, we pick all the songs that'll get people moving and going, and we know what songs we've played them enough. Uh, we've kind of tested them out around here enough to know like what people are going to vibe to,
Mm.
and it's cool. We it took a while, but we figured out a good set.
No, that's so fun. Honestly, I would love to go to a show. So I might just see like, the cities and see if you guys are coming near me because I
Yeah,
live in North Carolina, so we'll see if I can make it to one. But that's honestly like so exciting. Um so since you guys already touched a little bit about your favorite like bands in the pop rock genre and the pop punk genre, so this question is a little bit more fun, but if you guys could like go on stage with one of your favorite like pop rock influences, who would you choose? Like who would be like your perfect dream collaboration to just go on stage and just jam?
John, go ahead.
Hmm. Uh, Probably for like pop punk stuff.
Mhm.
It'd probably be the used.
Yeah.
Ah.
Definitely the used.
Um, as far I have a top three.
Mhm.
Uh, I would I would say Fallout Boy, All Time Low, or The Used. Yeah,
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I was like really curious because when I was like going through like the band's social media and stuff, I saw that Jake did a lot of covers for a lot of songs, and I'm like, I have to like he probably has like a bunch of like artists that he looks up to. So I really wanted to talk about you guys' like influences and how
Yeah.
they like affect your songs and stuff.
Um, it's super weird now, but so the drummer and I are very like pop oriented. So what we wanted to do is write songs that we liked, that were heavy enough that we liked, but still pop enough that most people would like.
Mhm,
So we we listened to a lot of early 2000s, like
mhm,
pop stuff, like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and stuff like that. A lot of Pink, and we were like, all right, let's make these really like heavy. And so it's cool. We just dropped our guitars down like super low and wrote pop songs. So it was pretty sweet.
I love that style. Like 2000 music is my type of music. It's the music I grew up listening to, and I absolutely love when people like get that like little bit of inspiration from those songs. Like I love that style so much. So I definitely know like the influence and how it can like it can be like on repeat all day long, like all your throwbacks like all day long.
So we figure we listen to like pop punk and metalcore and stuff. We listen to that stuff all of the time. So I was like, let's listen to everything else, and then because we already know what's up and what's cool and what needs done. We already write how we do. So I was like, well, I don't. We do covers, I think, very well. So I was like, well, I don't. The whole goal of the band was like pop goes punk, but original songs. So
Nice.
that's what I always tell the guys. That's always what we try to do. Is if pop goes punk, like was a band, that would be us.
Okay, good. All right. Well, those are all the questions that I have. If you guys want to add anything, feel free. The floor is yours.
For sure. Yeah.
Mhm,
You guys can check us out on iTunes,
mhm.
Spotify, Google Play, Pandora, Amazon, whatever you got.
Cool.
Just type in the name, we'll pop up, and go check out the dates with Makeout 408 and Don't Panic because we're all over the country. So
Yeah,
definitely go check that out.
so exciting. Thank you guys for being here and for, being so open and just talking about your music and the tour and everything. It was a really good one.
Yeah, absolutely.